Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. My name is Sean, this is UCM Pigs, and today we're going to be talking about doing some upgrades to my 2016 Ultra Classic. Now before we get started, let me remind you to like, comment, and subscribe, and as always on my channel, if you don't feel like typing words, just leave me an emoji. Let me know you're here, I would greatly appreciate that. So I've been doing some work on my bike, and some of you may refer to this as a stage one. There's some controversy about that. You know, some people say, oh, that's a Harley dealer thing. And, you know, they get all bent out of shape when people say stage one and stage two. Just say what you did to your motorcycle. For each is their own. It's a stage one, more like a stage one plus. But basically, it's opening up the bike and letting it breathe better. So I did this, maybe it's been a couple weeks now that I started this work. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I mentioned that I did like a stage one plus. And what I mean by that is typically a stage one, if you're buying a bike from a dealer, they will open up your air cleaner, give you a high flow air cleaner, and then put some slip on exhaust and then run a tune on your bike to adjust that fuel air mixture to make the bike run a little richer, a little better based on the new airflow that they've introduced into the motorcycle. I am basically one-upping it and replacing the head pipe. I got rid of my stock head pipe with the restrictive catalytic converter, and I went with an aftermarket head pipe, and I went with an aftermarket high-flow air filter. I already had slip-on exhaust, and I got a tuner. Now, I got this bundle of the tuner and the head pipe from a company by the name of Moto. Some of you may have heard of Moto. They're an American company. They've been in the business for a long time. They are probably I think they actually are the #1 seller of the tuner that I purchased, which is the Power Vision from Dynajet. I think they're the #1 retailer for Dynajet products, but they do offer other tuners such as Thunder Max and stuff like that. I picked one of their head pipes that's made by Moto, and it is the Jackpot 2-in-1 and the 2. Now, a lot of people are going 2-in-1 with performance motorcycles or performance Harley Davidsons because they actually perform a little better with that back pressure. There's a lot of science involved. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a mechanic. I'm just a dude that likes to do stuff to his motorcycle. But there are stats out there, and it's proven that the 2-in-1 does perform better in some applications. So this 2-in-1 and the 2, or what they call the Jackpot 2-in-1 and the 2, is kind of the best of both worlds. I'm not a huge fan of a 2-in-1. Again, I'm not creating a performance bagger. I just want a bagger that performs well. I kind of dig the dual exhaust look, especially with my stretch bags, and I wanted to keep that look. So this 2-in-1 and the 2 kind of gives me the best of both worlds because the way it's designed is it is a tandem flow design, and they claim to be the ones that have basically created this design where both pipes come into 2, and then basically most of your air is flowing out of the right side of the bike like a 2-in-1. There is a crossover, you use your factory crossover, and there's just a little bit of exhaust flow through that side out the left side, but it kind of gives me that performance of a 2-in-1 with the look of the dual pipes. All right, so there's an obvious difference. I went with the S&S teardrop. I love the classic look of an S&S teardrop. I decided to go with the black finish instead of the chrome. The bike is dressed in chrome, but if you remember when I redid my slip-ons, I went with the Cobra Neighbor Hater 2s in the matte black, and I rattle canned my heat shields. I'm going to send these off for powder coat one day. But not getting rid of all the chrome, just chroming it down, if that makes sense. I just really like the aesthetic of this air cleaner. It is a high flow. I am not racing the bike. I just wanted some better air flow into the bike. This is a very easy install. Once again, I'm always going to encourage you to get a shop manual. It will walk you through removing the old air box. It's pretty simple. A few bolts, it comes right off. This one, the instructions come with it. It's pretty cut and dry. The trickiest part is there is a piece of breather hose back here that you have to cut to length, so you want to make sure that's correct. But other than that, pretty simple process. The next thing I went with are the head pipes. These are from Moto. They are the Jackpot 2 into 1 back in the 2. This is a exhaust pipe spreader. You can pick this up for like 17 bucks at Harbor Freight. You basically insert it, you twist it, and it spreads the pipe back open because there is a gasket in there that you're going to need to get from Harley Davidson. I'll show you what the old one looks like. When it comes out, it gets all ratted up, but it's the same material as the gaskets up here in the heads. It's just wider. It gets boogered up. You do not want to reuse this, and you definitely want to get a spreader to save yourself a lot of headache getting the new one in there because the receiving pipe is going to be clamped down from the clamps. Just get the spreader. You know what they say, the right tool for the job. 17 bucks, no brainer there. So I've got that all hooked up. I did go with my stock O2 sensors. They're down here. These head pipes come equipped with 4 bung holes. You have 2 larger bung holes up here in the top if you decide to go to a wider band O2 sensor, but then you have the standard size bung holes down here on the bottom for your stock O2 sensors. I'm keeping it stock. I'm still researching the benefits of that. I may upgrade that later. Pretty cut and dry install. Couple notes is you definitely want to be careful when messing with your head bolts. I can speak from experience. I broke a stud off in the head one time on a previous bike, and it turned a day project into a couple weeks because I had to load it on a trailer, take it to a shop, and have them get that broken stud out of the head. So just be ginger with that, and then putting it back in place, make sure they're set in place, and always replace the gaskets. Don't skimp. This is not a time to skimp. Moto will provide you with a set of gaskets with your head pipes. So these are designed to receive the factory heat shields. It's kind of a shame because I really like the way it looks, but I want to keep my black aesthetic going. So I'm going to be installing the heat shields back on. And actually, before I put the heat shields on, there is a break-in procedure. And a lot of people aren't aware of this break-in procedure. Whenever you put new pipes on a bike, head pipes, metal that's going to get hot, you want to make sure you go through it. Moto gives you instructions on how to do it, but it's basically, we're going to start the bike up, let it idle for about 5 minutes just to get the pipes hot, and then we're going to shut it down and let it go completely down to cold still. We're going to do that a couple times. I'll go ahead, while I'm doing that, I'll go ahead and get the tuner plugged in, get the ECU flashed. I'm not going to be revving the bike, not going to be doing anything. I'm going to turn it on, let it idle. It's the evening time. I'll go inside, watch some TV, come back and do it again. And then when that's all done, I'll be buttoning up everything. I may go ahead and button it up tonight as well in between the cooling cycles, just because I'll have nothing else to do. So let's do that, and I'll check in with you guys when we get to the next step. So that's it for this video. I just kind of wanted to update you on what I've done with the bike. Like I said, we'll do some more later on. Maybe some more detail on this auto tuning. I've got some trips coming up, so I'm looking forward to getting out. Might be doing some auto tuning when I'm doing that. And that's all I've got for you. So until we talk again, you guys be careful. You guys be safe. Always keep your shiny side up. And we'll talk to you next time.